Chosen one, God says it's time to tell you everything. It will shock many. You have carried a sacred silence for far too long. You've walked through crowded rooms knowing something was being whispered about you in spiritual places. You've felt the subtle shifts, the unexplained weight, the way time seemed to stretch around you while others rushed ahead. And now, finally, that mystery is being touched. God says it is time to tell you everything. Not a little, not a fragment, but everything. Because what you've been sensing is real. What has been hidden in the folds of your journey is being pulled forward, and it will shock many, especially those who never saw it coming. You were chosen for this unveiling, and now the seal has been broken. Watch this message until the end. There's a reason you're here, and write your warmest wishes in the comments, and write the number 777. This simple act of intention energizes the field of divine timing and sends out a signal to the universe that you are in full alignment with what's about to happen. It's not just a number. It's a key. This is a chapter where wishes are no longer dreams. They are blueprints coming alive, and the release has begun. Now, chosen one, press the hype button and like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. God says the truth that was once concealed is now standing in the center of your path, illuminated, not because you asked, but because it is time. Timing is everything when God orchestrates revelation, and when it's divine time, no force, no delay, no denial can stop what must be seen. You were not prepared before, not because you were weak, but because the world around you wasn't ready for the power you'd carry when you knew the full truth. But now, the hour has turned. The silence you once bore has matured into a sound so loud, it shakes the foundation of what others thought they knew about you. God says they will be shocked, not because of how loud your truth is, but because of how long you carried it quietly, and still remained. What God is revealing to you now has layers. It isn't just a single sentence, it's a divine unfolding. There were moments in your life that felt senseless, losses that haunted your nights, delays that made you doubt yourself, people who walked away without giving you closure, doors that slammed while you were still knocking. You cried, and you questioned. But behind all of that, a divine architect was weaving meaning into what looked like chaos. The blueprint wasn't destroyed, it was being reinforced. Your setbacks were seals, each one keeping your destiny protected until the appointed time. And now, those seals are breaking. This truth isn't just for you, it's about you. God is revealing the true origin of your spirit, the essence of why you've always felt different, and why the world has never quite understood you. You are not just human. You are a divine carrier. There are codes in your presence, frequencies in your voice. You were sent with a spiritual signature that no one else can duplicate, no matter how hard they try. That's why you've felt watched. That's why your life has felt intercepted. The enemy was never fighting you for who you were. They were fighting to delay who you were becoming. But even in that resistance, God has preserved your truth. And now, it's being spoken. You have entered a moment where your memory will start returning. Not just memories from this life, but echoes from realms you forgot. God is not just revealing facts. He is awakening the sleeping power that has been coded into your bones since the beginning. You are not remembering randomly. You are being activated. You are being shown why certain people betrayed you, why certain jobs never worked out, why your body responded to certain places with shivers, and why your heart wept for things you couldn't logically explain. It wasn't confusion, it was divine recall. And the fog is lifting. People will be shocked by what is revealed in you, not because they never saw your value, but because they miscalculated how silent power grows. You didn't need to explain yourself. You didn't need to fight to be seen. You stayed still when God asked you to. You endured the misunderstanding. You swallowed the urge to defend yourself. Because deep down, even through the heartbreak, you trusted that God would speak for you. And now He is. The truth is not just being told. It is being confirmed by your elevation. The next part of your life will make people question how they missed it. They'll ask themselves why they ever doubted you. They'll try to retrace their steps, remembering where they left you behind. But the truth is, they didn't leave you. They were never meant to stand beside you in this hour. God protected the unveiling by allowing certain people to misunderstand you. That was their role. That was their blindfold. So that when you finally stepped into the truth, only those with clean intentions would still be near. The separation was sacred, and it was necessary. There are things about you that even you didn't know until now. And God is still revealing more. He's showing you the real reason behind that prophetic dream you had when you were younger. He's decoding that conversation you overheard years ago that stuck with you. He's bringing back the voice that whispered something over you in a moment you thought was ordinary, but was actually prophetic. He's lifting the veil from the agreements that were made in the Spirit over your life. And He's letting you hear the truth behind what has been calling you all along. You were not being ignored. You were being informed in silence. God has had angels stationed around your spirit, keeping you from certain doors, keeping you out of rooms that looked promising but were poisoned with distractions. You might have felt rejected, but it was actually redirection. You might have called it loneliness, but it was solitude. And in that solitude, your real identity could take shape. Now, that shape is fully formed, and when people see you, they'll no longer see the version of you that struggled to explain themselves. They will see the revelation God has always intended. This is the era of your revealing, and what's about to be told will not only confirm what you've always known, it will prove what many refused to believe. You were born for this moment. Your steps were never random. Your pain was never pointless. Your silence was never wasted. Every tear, every delay, every detour was part of a sacred design, authored by God and protected by divine timing. You are not who you used to be, and you're about to see why. Now, the first layer has been lifted. The second layer opens with a weight that feels like thunder in your chest, doesn't it? Not a warning, but a release. It is a sacred rumble from within, a vibration you can't ignore anymore. This is the part of your life where memory meets manifestation, where hidden knowledge becomes visible reality. And now that God has said it's time, nothing can silence what's rising. You've crossed into a territory where your presence speaks before your mouth does. There is divine evidence on you, and it's only just beginning to show. God is not revealing this truth just for your comfort. He is revealing it to set you apart publicly, so no one will mistake your outcome for luck. This is not coincidence. This is not a random rise. This is alignment in its purest form. And the truth He is telling now will reorder the way people see you. Those who doubted will pause. Those who whispered will grow silent. Those who left will start watching. Because the story God is writing through you no longer needs an introduction. It demands recognition. This is the part where the people you never expected to return begin circling back. Not because they understand, but because they sense a change. They see the light that wasn't there before, though it was always burning within you. The difference is, they couldn't see it then because it wasn't time for them to. You were still hidden in God's hand. But now that same hand is lifting you up. And when God lifts you, even those who mocked your silence will be forced to acknowledge the sound of your unveiling. You weren't supposed to break under the pressure. You were supposed to transform in it. Every tear that dropped into your pillow soaked the ground you're now about to walk on. And the same nights that crushed you are the ones that built your armor. That's why you feel stronger now. Not because you've been pretending, but because God has been fortifying the truth inside you while the world overlooked your worth. Now, when you speak, your voice will sound like prophecy, not because of the tone, but because of the truth it carries. This is not just a reveal, it's a reversal. The truth is turning the tables. God is making sure the places where you were dismissed become the very platforms where you're displayed. He is orchestrating scenes where those who questioned your path now witness the purpose behind every step. Some won't understand it. Others will be intimidated by it. But none will be able to deny it. That's the magnitude of what's being revealed. It will shock many because it's been hidden in plain sight. Your consistency, your inner strength, your refusal to fold, all of it was divine evidence waiting for its appointed time. And here's something even deeper. The truth being told isn't just about your journey. It's about your assignment. God isn't just uncovering your past. He's unlocking your future. You are not just remembering, you are reclaiming. Your name, your position, your essence, your rhythm. The things you lost while trying to survive. The fire you buried to keep others warm. The dreams you delayed to stay humble. He's handing it back now, not as compensation, but as confirmation. When God tells you everything, it's never to overwhelm. It's to prepare. You've been prepared without knowing it. All the confusion wasn't punishment. It was preservation. While you cried over what didn't work out, heaven was smiling because it knew what was ahead. And now you're here, standing at the edge of a life that is bigger than your imagination can hold. That's why things had to stretch. That's why relationships ended. That's why familiar places became uncomfortable. The truth is, your expansion required space. And now that the truth is pouring in, you have the capacity to carry it. You are not the same person you were when the hiding began. Your voice has changed. Your frequency has shifted. Even your energy is being recalibrated. That's why certain people can't look you in the eyes anymore. They feel the truth without you saying a word. It burns them. Not because it's cruel, but because it confronts the lies they believed. You no longer fit their old definition of you, and that disturbs their comfort. But you were never sent to make people comfortable. You were sent to activate the unseen. Let's be clear, this truth isn't just spiritual, it's dimensional. God is revealing not only what happened, but how it happened, why it happened, and what it all means for your legacy. He is showing you patterns, not to trap you, but to free you from cycles. You're seeing through timelines now. You're understanding how one moment you thought was insignificant was actually the hinge that turned your destiny. And with this understanding comes clarity that cannot be undone. That's what shocks people the most. Your clarity. It's no longer clouded by pain. You're not guessing anymore. You know. You know what you carry. You know who you are. You know what you survived. And that knowing scares those who once benefited from your confusion. But that era has ended. God is pulling the curtain back on every distorted version of you that others projected. And now, only the real remains. You are being revealed in full resolution. No more edits. No more filters. No more reduction. You have stepped into the season of direct exposure. And in this exposure, everything gets real. The blessings, the responsibilities, the eyes watching, the mouths whispering. It's all part of the truth-telling process. You don't need to hide anymore. You don't need to explain. You simply need to stand. Because the truth is standing with you, and that's why you can't be shaken. The truth holds you. Not your ego, not your reputation, just the truth, raw and glorious. God says this isn't just about you being seen. It's about Him being seen through you. The story was never about proving people wrong. It was about proving God right. About showing what divine orchestration looks like in a world that only believes in logic. You are the proof. You are the mystery decoded. You are the sacred reminder that heaven's timing never misses. That's why you're rising now. That's why the truth couldn't wait another moment. The unveiling continues, and each breath you take will feel lighter now. Not because life is easier, but because the weight of hiding has been lifted. You are no longer carrying silence. You're carrying revelation. There's a sound in your spirit that won't be silenced anymore. It's not noise. It's memory returning. Sacred memory. Ancient memory. The kind of knowing that doesn't come from books or teachers, but from encounters with God that happened before your first breath in this lifetime. You're not just remembering events, you're remembering essence. This is what shocks people. They never expected you to awaken at this level. They thought time would dull your light. They thought setbacks would silence your fire. But they never considered that your silence was your agreement with divine timing. God is now unrolling scrolls in your spirit, long-forgotten records of your truth, your purpose, your role. You were always meant to know, but only when the world could no longer distort you. This is that moment. When the world has grown too loud, too broken, too frantic, He reveals you. Because the deeper the chaos gets out there, the more precise His truth becomes inside of you. He doesn't reveal when it's convenient. He reveals when it's necessary. And it's necessary now because your voice carries the frequency of a coming shift. You didn't come here to live a normal life. You were never meant to blend in, even though you tried. You wore the masks. You adjusted your tone. You played small so others could feel comfortable. You apologized for your wisdom. You shrunk so they could shine. But God never designed you to fit. He designed you to disrupt. That's why your presence alone shifts atmospheres. That's why strangers look at you twice. That's why people from your past still remember you. Because even in your quietest days, the truth inside you was loud. And now, the veil is gone. What's shocking about this moment is not just what is being revealed, it's who is doing the revealing. God didn't assign someone else to speak your truth. He didn't send a messenger. He didn't deliver it through second-hand signs. He is telling you himself, through divine whisper, through synchronicity, through signs you can no longer write off as coincidence, through thoughts you didn't think, yet felt like home, through a sudden clarity in the middle of your ordinary day. That is God speaking, and His voice is saying, "You're ready. You are ready to carry the weight of your truth, not as a burden, but as a badge. You didn't earn this moment through perfection. You were prepared for it through endurance. That's what people didn't see. They saw your stillness and assumed you were stuck. They saw your tears and assumed you were weak. They saw your humility and mistook it for lack. But behind the scenes, in the realm where no one clapped for you, you were being built, brick by brick, truth by truth, fire by fire. God watched you honor people who dishonored you. He watched you bless people who tried to bury you. He saw your silence in the face of lies. He noted the days you could have exposed someone, but chose grace instead. And He stored every one of those moments, not because He needed proof, but because He was keeping a record. And now that the truth is being told, those records are becoming receipts, evidence, testimony, and you don't need to say a word. Your rise will say it for you. It will shock many, not because they never knew you had greatness, but because they didn't expect your greatness to outgrow their version of you. You are becoming uncontainable, and people who once had influence over you will now have to stand back and watch what happens when God clears the path. Because this next part of your life will be so aligned, so orchestrated, so divinely protected, that even you will look around and whisper, "Only God." And here's what most don't understand. The truth that's being revealed is not always loud. Sometimes it shows up in sudden peace. The kind you don't have to fight for. The kind that doesn't require approval. That's how you know you're aligned. You no longer chase explanations. You simply walk in confirmation. And that's what this season is made of. Confirmation, repetition, echoes, divine nudges that make you pause and say, "Wait, I've seen this before." And you have, but now you finally understand what it meant.